this is David with No Chaser, and I'll just start on a somber note. I've been struggling. I've been struggling a lot, and with that, the topic I'm going to bring today is shame and the way that shame works with drinking or using drugs. I always thought about shame as something that it's a weird sense where I feel like I should feel shame. If you've lived a life of an addict or an alcoholic, you've probably done a lot of things that are regretful, amoral, things that aren't even like yourself, like things that you've done to where you had these morals and these lines that you'd never cross and you crossed them. And the worst part is that I feel like I should feel bad for them. I don't want to forgive myself because I need to feel bad for these things. It's kind of this trick of morality that you play in your head to what you think you should feel bad for it and you should feel the shame. Now, there is the difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is, of course, feeling bad for something you've done, and shame is feeling bad for who you are. And what I've realized is in all the shame that I feel, and I still feel right now, there is a part of me, a weird mechanism, at least in my head, where deep down, and maybe a subconscious level, I want to keep feeling shame. I want to keep feeling shame because I know that shame keeps driving my drinking. And the thing is, if I keep feeling that shame, and if I keep feeling like a piece of shit, then I can live like a piece of shit. Like if I keep feeling shame and I keep thinking that I'm just worthless and nothing and no good to anybody, then I might as well keep drinking. And I think that's what the power of shame, where it comes from, is because it makes you want to keep drinking. And there's a part of me to where, again, that idea that there's some sort of morality in my mind where, no, I need to feel bad for these things. So I keep feeling that shame, and it keeps empowering me to drink because it keeps me lower. Because the harder part is to forgive myself. Because if I forgive myself, if I try to do something to where I can alleviate some of that shame and just feel the guilt, if I just feel that guilt, then that means I have to change. That means that if I have to change, I have to quit drinking. But if I sit in that shame, and if I sit and I feel it, and I keep feeling as bad as I do, then I can keep drinking. It's this weird little mental trick that I know that I played with myself over the years to where, in this very strange way, I embrace the shame. I embrace the shame because I need to feel like a piece of crap, because then I can keep being that way. I can keep telling myself that I'm nothing. I can keep telling myself that I'm worthless. And if I feel worthless, I can just tell the world, please don't try to help me. Please don't reach out. Just let me be. Let me drink myself to death. Or let me use drugs to death. Or whatever you have it. Because if you tell yourself I can't feel the shame anymore, you can make amends. You can feel the guilt. You can try to change your life. But if you keep that shame and you keep thinking that you are a person that's nothing and you offer nothing to the world, then you can stay and you can keep drinking. At least that's the way I feel. And that is such a hard thing to get rid of because, it's natural to feel the shame for the things that I have done or the things that maybe you out there have done in order to get your drugs, in order to keep drinking, in order to just all the things you've done to other people, not only just to yourself, but to what you've done to other people. And that's the other aspect about shame. The other aspect is that I always, there's that phrase that I'm not hurting anybody but myself. And so if you lose that sense of self-worth and you feel that shame for yourself, then you don't care about yourself. And if you don't care about yourself, then it's easier to drink. Because if you do think you have value and you do think you have some self of worth and you have some self-respect, then you can tell yourself that I need to stop drinking. And when you want to drink, you don't want to hear any of that. You don't want to do any of that. You want to sit there in that shame so you can keep drinking. Because for me, that's what it all comes down to. It is just another trick of the mind so that I can keep drinking. Because honestly, the way to alleviate that shame whether it's forgiving yourself or changing your life for the better or making amends, means that you have to stop drinking. And that's something that I right now am trying to do. I'm trying to get rid of that, but there's this part of me that, God, I think about how many people I hurt, and I think about the promises I've broken, and I think about all the things that I've said, or rather the things that I haven't said, and the way I've let people down, and it's hard to get rid of, because deep down, I know that's not the person I am when I'm drinking. I know it's not. But I still did those things. They still had real world consequences. And I can't let go of that. I know I need to, but I have to be able to let go of that. And letting go of it doesn't mean that you are fine with it. It doesn't mean that you tolerate it. It doesn't mean that you accept that was okay, but the shame part has to go. Feel the guilt. As bad as that sounds, feel the guilt for it, because at least the guilt, there is some sort of driver that makes you want to be better. But feeling the shame is just, it doesn't help you at all. But I feel that, and I feel that shame, it wants to stay in me like a cloud, because it gives me this sense of worthlessness. And when I have this sense of worthlessness, then I'll be okay with drinking. Because again, if I cared about myself, if I thought that I had value, and if I thought I had something to offer the world, then I would have to stop drinking. Then I would know I'd have to stop drinking. I'd know I'd have to get better. But if I stay in that shame, and if I stay feeling that I am not a worthy person, then it gives me the green light to being a complete self-destructive train that is heading towards oblivion. And so I'm trying my best to work on these things. And I'm trying my best to get better. And I'm trying my best to just try to let go of this stuff. Again, it is by no means approval of any of this stuff, but just letting that shame fester is only a driver. It is a fuel to get me to keep drinking. And I can't let that happen anymore. I really can't, and it's not something that happens in a day. It's not something that you just wash away and you change forever. It is a daily thing you need to work on, because the memories come back, the feelings come back. And not only that, but I will fuck up again. I've fucked up plenty of times when I've been sober. I've messed up so many times with a clear mind, not even when I was drunk, and I feel that. But I need to feel the guilt, but not the shame. Because when I feel that shame, it just keeps me down on this low level. It keeps me down in this place that I don't care about myself. The biggest thing is that most people would agree that you have to want to get sober for yourself, even above your spouse or your kids or everything else in the world. You have to want to do it for yourself. And if you're going to do it for yourself, you have to care about yourself. And that shame will block that out. The shame will make you not care about yourself. And that's what I'm going through right now. I want to preface this all with, I'm not saying that I'm doing this perfectly by any means. I'm not even really saying what I speak in you a lot. Again, what I'm really doing is talking about myself. It's just kind of hard to keep saying mean for whatever reason. But I'm not saying, there's people that I've talked to, people that reach out to me that are doing so well. And I just want everybody out there to know that, if you watch this, this is a diary of just someone trying to get better. I'll provide all the insight and all the things that I know. I have a lot of self-awareness, but self-awareness doesn't matter unless I can put it into practice. And that is what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to keep working at it, and I'm going to keep trying my best. And I just want you to know that everybody out there, all the people that have said the years of sobriety they have, I commend you, and it gives me hope that you actually care what I have to say. And all the people struggling out there, I hope that I'm in that same boat with you too. I just wanted to be candid and honest with this. And so for anybody out there that is doing well, keep at it. For anybody out there that's struggling, like me, try to find a way out. Try to find a way out, because that's what I'm trying to do. Like I say, be well.